Oh, welcome back to Bound News Network. We have been monitoring the tropical storm Elsa as it makes its way into the Caribbean Sea. And we see that it's at with the 11 p.m. Thursday update from the National Hurricane Center. We see it closing in on the island of Barbados. There is actually tropical storm watch and also um, tropical force winds watch for the most of the Windward Islands as well as the Leeward Islands, most of the Lesser Antilles Islands, with most of the emphasis put on the islands of Saint Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, as well as Saint Vincent. But of course, Barbados is going to be the first point of contact as it makes its way in. We do anticipate by possibly the hours between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m., based on these projections, that uh, this tropical storm Elsa will start making its way over the island of Barbados. Right now, the winds are maximum sustained 50 miles per hour, moving west northwest at 26 miles per hour. We do notice that the pressure has been dropping steadily for the last few updates. Initially, it started at 1008 millibars, and then we based on our most previous update, we were at 1005 millibars, and now we're looking at 1003 millibars. As the pressure continues to drop, this is a telltale sign possibly of cyclonic organization, meaning it's getting tighter. And being that the maximum sustained winds have upped a little bit, all indicators show that this storm is actually tightening its organization. It's actually strengthening. Level of convection is increasing, and it's actually taking advantage of all that warm ocean water there to actually strengthen and become a little bit more organized, which is not a good sign for those who are in its path, especially the residents of Barbados. We do anticipate that the bulk of the more heavy winds are going to be on the north right side of the storm at this point in time, based on just its organizational structure. If we look at the organizational structure, we can see that most of the heavy winds are mostly primarily located at the very north and the right side of the storm at this time. It is a pretty sizable storm, but based on all of the wind modeling that we do as far as the different wind forecasts, we do anticipate that more of the heavier winds, not to say that the winds, tropical force winds, are not going to be felt in Barbados. That's not what we mean. But as far as the severity as it continues to organize and intensify, may be felt more on the north right side of the storm. The reason why we say that is just by our modeling, we can actually see that when we actually positioned, or we did a test of based on the modeling, we actually saw that it's most of the more heavier winds are actually going to be experienced possibly on the north side, based on preliminary indicators of cyclonic formation. So what we mean by that is if we look at the particles, we can actually see that more of the more intense winds are possibly going to be felt on the north right side, which means that um, Dominica will still experience quite a bit of tropical force winds, but we anticipate more of the more heavy thunderstorms and more rainfall will be possibly experienced more by the residents of Dominica. So we actually included Dominica and even Martinique. It's a pretty widespread storm, as you can see. But we do anticipate that more of the more heavy winds and the structure of this storm may be felt more by the residents of Martinique, Dominica, as well as Saint Lucia. Of course, Barbados is going to experience it also. Um, it remains to be seen as far as what effects will be felt by the residents of Saint Vincent. We don't anticipate, with exception of maybe light rainfall, might be experienced by residents in Grenada. But we do feel that the bulk of the more heavier winds may be felt more by those who live on the island of Martinique as well as Dominica. So as we prepare for this storm to make impact, we're actually taking a closer look at this tropical storm Elsa. We want to see if it will further intensify. We anticipate that once it gets closer to, it gets past the Lesser Antilles and gets more bearing down on possibly the south coast of Hispaniola, it may intensify to 55 miles per hour, 60 miles per hour. They usually gather a little bit of strength before the next landmass, and there's quite a bit of ways to go. So it looks like the late night on Saturday will be, once it's left the southern Windward Islands, the next point of landmass contact will be possibly Haiti, and then it will proceed to the area of southeast Cuba. And then it remains to be seen what type of strength it will have as it emerges over the landmass of Cuba and enters into the Gulf of Mexico. So we'll have to continue to monitor this tropical storm Elsa as it makes its way. It is slowing down a little bit. It's down to 26 miles per hour. It was speeding up at about 28 to 29 miles per hour earlier from the previous update. So it's actually slowed down a little bit. The pressure has dropped and the winds have gone up a little bit. So these are all signs that it's actually increasing its strength. It's slowing down, the pressure is dropping, and the winds are intensified as far as intensifying as far as the maximum sustained winds. So that's why we want to make sure that the residents of Barbados are prepared for this storm as it makes its way towards Barbados. The residents of Barbados should be prepared for heavy rainfall. If not felt, the outer squalls should be impacting the island in the next few hours, and it will increase beyond that to tropical force winds, 40 to 50 miles per hour as this system makes landfall there. And then as it proceeds into the area of Saint Lucia as well as Dominica as well as Martinique, then they will also experience heavy squalls of thunderstorm activity and tropical force winds. One of the main cautionary tales of these storms, especially in small islands, is a risk of mudslides. Because when many of these islands receive a lot of rainfall in a very, very short period of time, especially in residents who live in higher terrain areas, they are more prone to mudslides, and we have seen that especially on the island of Jamaica in the 2020 hurricane season. So this is one of the main concerns that we have here at Bow News Network. The risk of flash flooding, as well as, of course, tropical storm winds. Storm surge is also going to be an element that has to be considered, and also we need to be concerned about mudslides, which may increase the loss of life as well as property. But we'll continue to monitor tropical storm Elsa as it makes its way towards the southern Windward Islands. We do see that the tropical storm watch has been set up for Jamaica as well as Haiti and the southern coast of Dominican Republic, and we anticipate that eventually Cuba will set up their own tropical storm watch, and possibly then after the United States coast for South Florida will be on alert for a Monday morning impact from tropical storm Elsa. One of the main concerns we have, and one of the models, some of the models do take this storm actually moving over the island of Hispaniola, in which event that it may disintegrate because of the very, very high terrain. We're talking about Pico Duarte, which is the peak there on Hispaniola, and the elevation there is a little bit over 10,000 feet, and that's high enough. It is the highest peak in the Caribbean, and it does have the potential to really help to break up this tropical storm before it has any chance to really increase intensity. So that is one of the spaghetti models taking it. Some of the spaghetti models actually take it a little bit closer to the region of over Hispaniola, And if that's the case, then that's going to increase the chance of it losing a significant amount of its strength before it actually reemerges back into the southern Bahamas region. What if that does take its course in there? Then it remains to be seen what type of strength it will have and whether it will be able to reorganize. And if it does take that path, then definitely South Florida will be more in the cone of concern. At this time, it is in the cone of concern, and it's too far away to actually know whether it will veer a little bit to the left or to the right. But we'll continue to monitor it. But this system is a cause for concern at this time because it's already at 50 miles per an hour maximum sustained winds, and we do see that telltale sign of the pressure dropping, and we will continue to monitor the pressure within this system to see exactly and also monitor it on the Doppler radar to see exactly how it's organizing and starting to tighten. But as far as the most immediate threat would be to the island, the residents of Barbados, St. Lucia, also Dominica, as well as Martinique at this particular time. So we do want to make sure that we get this information to as many of our subscribers as possible so that they can actually prepare ahead of the storm before it actually makes impact with that landmass and those islands within the next few hours. Of course, if you're new to this channel and you appreciate timely weather advice as well as timely weather reports, please by all means smash that like button, share it with friends and family, and also smash that notification bell so that as soon as we go live with the latest weather, you will actually receive it and you'll be in the know and you'll be able to stay ahead of the storm. Of course, we appreciate all of our subscribers. Stay tuned to our next weather update here at Bow News Network, and always remember to bow to the weather. And thank you. Have a great night. Thank you so much.